Hello, welcome back to another episode of Focus on Tomorrow. I'm your host, Jamil Rice. Focus on Tomorrow is a non-profit organization located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web at www.focusontomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focusontomorrow.org. If you have any questions or comments, you can call in at 312-738-1060. Hi, I'm here with Tylis Walker, who's a social justice advocate and student at Innovations High School. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
That's good. So, what makes a young person like you want to stand up and fight the system?
Being like a minority and a member of the youth, I see like the struggles we go through on a daily basis.
Right.
So last summer actually, I got involved in this leadership intern with this lady named Hilda Franco. And they basically taught us how to be activists, and this was around the time like everything happened with Mike Brown, and we were really stepping up to that, and I really got involved, and it took like a huge turn on my life.
So tell us about some of them experiences that you had in protests.
So we work with Fight for 15, the workers organization, the fast food organization, and we went to like fast food restaurants trying to recruit other people. We actually took part in a protest when we did the 4 minutes of silence for Mike Brown at the Daily Plaza, and all sorts of stuff like that.
So this type of passion is definitely something you are born with, but was probably fueled by a mentor. Can you tell us a little bit about who that person was and why they inspired you to be so active and so vocal about the different social injustices that we are experiencing right now?
I have two of those actually. The first one was Hilda Franco, who I just mentioned. She was kind of on edge because she's like an older person, but like she understands the youth, and I feel she was a huge advocate for me. She played a huge role in my life that summer. And then the other is my old instructor, Miss Kucharski, Miss K, because she taught me a lot of things like about Africa, like my roots, my motherland. So yeah.
True. How exactly do young people go about fighting back against the rules of power that we have seen from some police officers?
Well, first of all, you learn the rules. You know them like the back of your hand. You know the do's and the don'ts, because you may be doing everything right and you may still face like interaction with officers and stuff. And then like you join groups, you talk to people, you see what's going on, and you see what you can do.
So, all in all, what makes the protests with like Mike Brown and Freddie Gray different from like an average black teenager getting shot or killed in Chicago because of gang violence? Because like my personal opinion is that if you're going to protest about something that happened in a different state or a different city, you should first protest like what's going on in your own city, in your own backyard. So like, why do you think people are paying more attention to issues like that instead of issues that's happening in their own backyard?
I think I kind of lost it for a second. I think people protest the deaths of like Michael Brown and Freddie Gray because those were like officer assaults and things like that. Like, you expect the law to protect you, and you expect those officers, when you call 911, you expect help. Gang violence and things that go on, that's like, it's a society thing. It's just a generation thing, and they fear like at the end of the day I have to go back to the same neighborhood that these people gangbang on, that these people sell drugs on. Right. So it's not gonna like, I know it's not gonna end today because it'll be a different group of kids tomorrow.
Right. Do you think it's possible to repair the relationship that the people have with the police?
Of course. I've not even known, but I've dealt with officers, and they've given me the benefit of the doubt. I've gotten off, like, not gotten off, but I've been blessed throughout my life and all the experiences I've had with officers.
Okay,
just because of the mentality I have, the education I have, the way I speak, the way I interact with them.
So you recently created a 10-minute short video about mass incarceration and the lifelong effect of the criminal record. Okay, let's take a look at that short clip of that video.
Mass incarceration consists of large numbers of people being incarcerated for particular reasons, and would constitute that these reasons are not accidental, that they can be traced back to the person's identity based on race, the person's identity based on where they live, the person's identity based on the crime.
In the communities that are most impacted by the criminal record, people in those communities, they have an inkling of something that's going on, but they don't know the systematic barriers and discrimination that exists because of the criminal record.
Where I come from and the lifestyle I live in, you're bound to go to jail. You're bound to go to jail, either die. Very few make it. Very few people want to change their life. So going to jail is not a surprise. It's more like, oh, what do you go to jail for this time? My mom's on parole. My dad's in federal prison right now. My brother's in jail. My uncle's coming out next month. And my little brother's fighting a case. So it's just a thing.
There are various ways that you can talk about this subject, and there are people who are victims of this system and live in neighborhoods and communities and come from spaces where everyone they know has had an incident with the criminal justice system. And because of that, they have become part of a culture where it's normalized to get pulled over by a cop. It's normalized that your cousins have had a record for something as petty to something severe.
But even though I haven't been incarcerated, I have indeed been convicted of a crime. Okay, and the conviction that I have in 1984, I was convicted of a transgression that I had made. And, that's when I actually was involved. But in 1987, December of 1987, I was convicted of that transgression, and I received 30 months probation. As I completed the 30 months probation in June of 1990, and now here it is, getting ready to be 25 years later. And because of the fact that I'm on paper, as it were, or that I have this criminal record, it has really, really held me back from being able to actually receive employment.
So what made you want to create this video?
I was actually approached by my instructor, Mr. Barroso, and he knew I was involved in social justice. So he told me we had to come up with some type of piece about mass incarceration and what it was, and we just worked on it. I knew a couple people to interview. He knew a couple people, and we filmed those interviews, came up with the questions, filmed the interviews, and edited.
So why is the long-term effect of the criminal record such a personal issue to you?
To me, it's such an issue because the things that you can get a criminal record for are minuscule and can be like even just classified as like petty. Most people who like get a criminal record don't even we think as criminals as people who went to jail and stuff like that. Most criminals don't even go to jail. They get probation. Probation is like a criminal record that goes on your record, and you can't get certain jobs. Your life basically takes a turn for the worse when you have something on your criminal record. And even if you get it your record sealed or you try to get it expunged, people don't know the steps you have to take to do certain things like that.
So what was this project what does this project mean to you?
This project just shows the struggle because at the end of the day, mass incarceration is tied to just a long line of free labor and racism all over the world. It's evident how people are policed in our neighborhood, compared to the majority being Caucasian people. It's just an ongoing cycle. So, wait, what was your question again? I just got sidetracked.
The question was what was the project for? Did it mean anything personal to you?
Yeah, it was personal to me because my mentor Hilda was in there, and I felt like I was really trying to make a change for people, young people like me who are blind to things like this, and just to see how long this has been going on and who's actually been taking those steps to better themselves.
Because the reason why I asked the question is because a lot of young African American kids don't know that basically the stuff that you do now, whether it's legal or illegal, can basically potentially mess up your career. You could be in the wrong place at the wrong time or mistaken identity, and for you to go to jail at such a young age could possibly get you maybe like, you know, make you miss like your base half your life, half your college career.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a lot of people at my school, Innovations High School, that are like so overage for high school.
Right.
So past their, what gotta call it?
Caller, you have a caller online? Caller, what's your question or comment?
Yeah, I would ask the brother to remember about mass incarceration and the effect is that it's all related into a much bigger picture. For example, they hook you up with a crime and then say that you're unemployable, and then they go and say, well, we need more foreigners in the country, H-1B visas, H-1C, H-1S, because, you know, we can't find anybody that's good. But the truth of the matter is that when they look at your credit report or they look at your quote-unquote criminal history, as a word, then, you know, you become ineligible for employment. So we need more foreigners to take your job. So when you think about the protest that's been going on in Baltimore now, that's really a reflection. That really goes back to Emmett Till, because Emmett Till was the last guy that got lynched by an organization, and the people decided they wasn't going to stand for it anymore. And so now, if you lynch somebody or the organization, as it were, attacks an individual, then there would be retribution. And that's the bottom line on that. But in terms of economics of our current conditions, and I appreciate the piece that the brother did with the interviews and all that. I think that, you know, you shouldn't miss the bigger problem in the economy, and that is that we have these structural unemployment situations created so that other people can have jobs and we can't.
Well, we'd like to thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
So, back to the mass incarceration video. Like, what barriers do you think a criminal record hold for community as a whole?
For a community, it destroys like all culture and life and hope. If everybody has a criminal record and nobody's able to get a job, nobody's able to better their community, nobody's setting examples, and this just carries on to the children, this just carries on to the generations to come.
Right.
So communities like, I live on the west side, I live in the Austin district. My district is like the heart of gang violence and drug dealing.
Right.
Because these people go to jail every day, these people just not in school, these people just, this is the only thing they know, this is all they know how to do to make money.
Right. So what changes would you like to see in order to reduce the amount of records being handed down to young minorities?
I like to see more help actually given, like more. I work with a youth company called Youth Service Project. I want to see like more youth programs just targeting the youth and bettering the youth and giving them like some side education other than school, because school is not for everybody. I want to see people, minorities, like less targeted and policed better. I want to see prisons actually rehabilitating people. I want to see some laws actually change. These petty things that people get arrested for on a daily basis, especially in my neighborhood,
right,
is marijuana, like small marijuana.
Right.
If it's legal, like I read a lot of articles about the benefits and everything that's good about marijuana. Why we get locked up for it on a daily basis is such a good question.
Right. Because in my personal opinion, I feel like it's another story, but I feel like marijuana should be legal instead of alcohol for many different reasons. But anyway, do you think hip-hop sometimes influence young people to act irresponsibly?
Of course I do. Me being an artist and a positive artist, my playlist it shows in my playlist why I rap the way I do.
Right.
Most of these people, not most of these people, but in terrible neighborhoods like mine, their playlist, the majority of the people around me, their playlist looks a lot different. There's a huge difference between Kendrick Lamar and Chief Keef.
Right.
And not only like with the education and what they have to say, their upbringing and what it took for them to like get to the level they are and what they're able to put out to the world.
So you created a music video, but your song usually deliver a positive message. let's take a look at this music video for your song, What It Takes to Be Great.
About a kid trying to make it. Since 15 years I've been trying to make a statement, claiming that I'm the greatest to ever say this, with conscious decisions made in my honor, only portraying greatness, lyrics calling a cadence. You thought that I was wrong when I heard that you's a racist. I picked up the pen and spit fire in their faces. They wonder why we hate them, but they dying to replace us, cause slavery isn't over. They lying when we wake up, they changing all the rules so that we remain poor, but all these minorities will soon be major, and then you can't fight it, cause we remain strong through the battles in the belly of the beast till we gone. Got mamas crying on the sideline, cause this is our time. We fighting in these gang wars, we need to fight the skyline, cause they the ones that's stealing the money. You ain't gonna take mine, cause I'm a businessman, but I blow up like a landmine. Truth be told, I'm probably dreaming higher than the whole sky, cause when I'm really looking, I see more through my own eyes. These brochures can't tell me that they starving in Africa, but that's my hometown. This ain't nothing but a deep skies. Chicago ain't nothing but a war zone. We're packing heat, the prone position that only we chose, killing off our brothers and our sisters for these weak clothes. $200 Jordans, can't even shoot free throws. Bet you wouldn't have grabbed it if you knew he was a graduate from Harvard University, trying to stop this madness. These positive influences, they come across so crafty, so learn life's lesson. We can't all become athletes. $1 million mansions, you living out a four-seater. That should tell you that they kick the less of what you seeing in them. Try to make a difference for those kids that you closest to, cause in the infant dirt only rises me and you.
Wow, that was one amazing song.
Thank you.
No problem. So, like, what was that song about?
So I wrote this last summer, actually, when all this consciousness came to me, and I was probably in the middle, so I had learned most of the stuff I needed to learn about oppression, and I just put it in words. Like, on a day-to-day, I can step and take different steps to battle oppression, but we're blind to a lot of things. Is this, like, society we live in is set up against minorities. It's not set up for us.
So who would you say your major musical influences are?
Major musical influences. Okay, right now, I would say Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Schoolboy Q. Some other stuff around there, but basically these people tell stories that I can understand,
right,
and stories that sound different. I don't want to, like, sidetrack into, like, why I love their music, but basically they speak of the struggle. They speak of the upbringing and true stories that, like, just relay who they are.
So you say you listen to a lot of conscious rappers?
Yes, I do. And I create conscious art myself.
That is actually amazing, because me personally, I listen to a lot of conscious rap, and I feel like if the music that kids listen to today was it more so of trap music, Chicago slang like Chief Keef and everything, but if they listen to more of music that actually makes a difference, that actually tells a story, to get people more involved. Like, for example, Kendrick Lamar, with his recent album The Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
That created so much headline and controversy, because everything he talks about was more towards of black power and the stuff that's going on in the black society today. And I feel like hip hop is not really dead, because you have rappers trying to bring that back, like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar, trying to bring that back, trying to bring back old school music to the new generation, to make a difference, to make a better community as a whole, so we can stick together.
The reason music has taken the impact it has is because we've lowered our standards.
Right.
We allow 16 bars and, like, some hook to be okay and win Grammys, like,
right.
And I just quoted Mick Jenkins on it. But we allowed that to be okay, so now everybody has, like, anything to say, but, like, these artists who step back and say, like, this is more than just a couple words that rhyme on the track. Those are your Kendrick Lamars and J. Cole's.
Right, right.
Those are the people who, like, even if it's not what we go through today, it's something, like, special. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'd like to thank you for your time again. This is Tylis Walker, who's a social justice activist and a student at Student Innovations High School. So we'd like to thank you for your time and patience.
Thank you.
No problem. Anyway, Focus on Tomorrow is a non-profit organization. In case you didn't know, or you're just not tuning in, you can find us on the web at www.focusontomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focusontomorrow.org. Again, if you have any questions or comments, you can call in at 312-738-1060. Our next guest is LaShawn Jackson with his daughter Peyton. LaShawn Jackson is executive director of the Circle Foundation. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
That's good. So, as you know, your daughter was recently, I think, on the Oprah show, and she performed a live poem in front of an audience.
No, it wasn't quite Oprah.
Dang.
Wish it was. It was Windy City Live. But yeah, she performed Hey Black Child in front of a live audience, yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
So why do you think it was important for you to teach your daughter that poem?
Actually, we were given the poem for her to do at a Black History Month event.
Right.
And from that event, that performance that she did kind of went viral a little bit, and then she was asked to be on Windy City Live. But the poem itself is something that we would like her to know, because we believe in the potential of all kids. And we want her to know from a young age that she has potential and all kids have potential. And we want to inspire people to tell their kids that and other kids.
Right. Hope it's not asking too much, but could you have her to recite the poem?
Peyton, can you do the poem? Can you look in there and do the poem? Yeah? All right. Go ahead. Do it real loud for Daddy.
Hey, Black Child. Do you know who you are? Who you really are? Do you know you can be what you want to be? If you try to be what you can be. Hey, Black Child. Do you know where you are going? Where you're really going? Do you know you can learn what you want to learn? If you try to learn what you can learn. Hey, Black Child. Do you know you are strong? I mean really strong. Do you know you can do what you want to do? If you try to do what you can do. Hey, Black Child, be what you can be. Learn what you must learn. Do what you can do. And tomorrow, your nation will be where you want it to be.
Good job.
Oh my God. That is... Not only is that adorable and cute, but it's it's amazing that young kids these days are taking more interest in something other than being more construction about their work, because that shows that if they're learning something good now, how great they can be later on in the future. Having a strong upbringing, being productive and a strong focus, strong power in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but how important is a foundation of self-confidence and self-awareness in order to grow into a responsible adult? Like, how important is that?
I think it's primary. It's extremely important. So, as we're raising our daughter, we teach her self-confidence. As you can see, she's confident to speak in front of audiences and cameras, even though she's only 3, still playing on my jacket. But self-awareness, I believe, is another, probably even more important, because a lot of us have no idea of the potential that we have. And a lot of youth are kind of stuck in a certain mindset about what life is about. And so self-awareness kind of is a broader scope of who you are, but not only who you are, but where you are and how you can impact the world. So it's extremely important.
That's good. Yo, Peyton. How long did it take you to learn that poem?
A week.
Was it hard for you? What do you want to be when you grow up?
What you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know.
You don't know yet?
Do you like to learn?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So, when you're not reciting poems, what other activities do you participate in?
What do you like to do at home?
Play.
You gotta let my neck go. What else you like to do?
I like to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I like to learn my numbers and my alphabet.
Stop hiding on me. And your alphabets?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, LaShawn,
Mm-hmm.
you run a high school under your nonprofit called the Circle Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think everyone currently has equal access to education?
It's a good question. When you say equal access, do I think everyone has access to go to a school? Yes. Does everyone have equal access to the same level of education? Probably not. But I also believe it's up to the people who are going to school to study and seek out different educational venues. So a student that might not have the best of schools can still get educated. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of our attitudes about education that leads to us not being educated and not getting the most out of the education we can. So does everyone have access to education? I won't say more than likely, yeah, but does everyone have access to level education? Probably not.
So, in review to your response, how do we make education more accessible to well, right now to inner city kids? Like, how do we make that more accessible to where they're able to go to college or they're able to complete high school?
Well, college is a whole nother story because that's a cost factor with that for like a lot of the bigger or higher Ivy League colleges or whatever. As far as just going to public school, I think we need to just start by getting students interested in education, because a lot of students nowadays are not so well. I'm not going to say a lot of students. Some students are not so interested in education, and I think that starts at home. As far as getting into colleges and things like that, we need to make it free if we could.
Right.
I think that the city and the state could probably do a little bit more to help to make education a little bit more affordable for those who can't afford it. But I also believe that students should earn it. I don't believe if a student is getting D's and F's in school that we should just pay their way to go to college and say it's okay, you just try to do what you can. I think students should have to earn the education, and it should be free. And with that in mind, students will work harder, and then we're investing in our future.
In my opinion, I feel like, cause there's a certain point where like a lot of students, like they are a very select number of students, but like majority of students, they lose their drive and their reasoning for education, for going to school, because they feel like, they feel like it's not worth their time. So, when you was younger, you want to go to school, like you want to have fun, like you want to learn because learning was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the reason why like this is my opinion, why a lot of kids drop out is because they lost that drive or that reason, to stay in school and to want to learn, have a decent education. We have 1 minute to wrap up the show. So, is there any additional comments you want to make?
I'd like to thank Tylis, who is just on here. That's one of our students, one of our better students, multi-talented student. But to piggyback also on what you said about students not wanting to be educated, I think it goes back to self-awareness, because when you have a certain picture of life in yourself, you move according to that picture. You know what I mean? So if you think that you're going to be in the streets selling drugs and kicking it and whatever, you're not going to worry about education because it's not going to help you in that realm. But I think self-awareness is the key, and most of our students need to, most of our community need to just focus more on who we are as a people. And then from that, education, the door to education will open up wider.
Right. So I would like to thank you for your time, and I would like to thank your daughter for reciting that poem and for coming on the show to basically explain why she wants to learn that poem. And I really like what you're doing.
Thank you.
So again, this is Jamil Rice. We will see you on another episode next week. See you later.